Good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, guests, friends. I will now give the floor to Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia, Sergey Lavrov. Participants of this session, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for actually coming here despite this difficult situation to participate in this discussion of the Troika of the Afghan peace process. I'd like to give a special thanks to the Afghanistan High Council for National Reconciliation, for the chairman, and for our friends from Turkey. As you well know, this process, these talks were devised as part of the Afghan peace process. It started in 2009, and this mechanism has played a significant positive role in promoting talks between the US and the Taliban movement, which resulted in an agreement signed on the 28th of February 2020. We call on all sides to continue to comply with their obligations and respect the UN Security Council Resolution 2513. I would like to thank all participants for their participation in this format, which is relevant as it gives additional momentum to the peace process in Afghanistan. We're also grateful to Qatar for promoting national reconciliation in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the Doha process for Afghan peace and national reconciliation hasn't yet provided any positive results, but we expect further progress down the line. At the same time, we see that the situation is deteriorating and we cannot meddle any longer. We are especially worried by the spring and summer period when traditionally we see more military and hostile activities in the region, and according to my information, my data, this is already starting. We see that people on both sides are continuing to perish, including the civilian population, that both sides are, that there are radical groups that are trying to use the situation on the ground, including the Islamic State, to strengthen their position in the region and project their influence on the Central Asian region. This all gives rise to drug trafficking and drug businesses, which threatens the entire region and also encourages further terrorist activities. We welcome all initiatives aimed at a diplomatic peace process. We believe that international efforts need to be promoted and boosted to fight the terrorist and drug trafficking threat. To achieve this, we need to rely on the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the OSCE and the CSTO. And Russia, on its part, will continue to help promote the peace process, to put an end to the long-term hostilities, and we call on all sides to prevent further hostilities from happening. We need to engage in diplomatic dialogue, and this is the only way to resolve key issues existing between the parties, and this is the idea of today's meeting. I'd like to reaffirm that Russia supports tying the efforts of this mechanism to the Moscow format of consultations in Afghanistan. This mechanism is well recognized that it involves all the neighbors of Afghanistan, the key nations of the region, and the US. I'd like to remind you that it was part of the Moscow format that in December 2018, representatives of the Afghan government and the Taliban movement came to the negotiations table for the first time. There were 30 countries present during those talks, and if needed, we are ready to organize another meeting of this sort. And in April and May 2019, Moscow hosted sessions of the inter-Afghani dialogue. They were hosted at the initiative and with the participation of a Afghani diaspora living in Russia, the CIS countries in Europe and in Asia. It was back then that influential Afghani politicians and representatives of the Taliban and the Afghanistan High Council for National Reconciliation created the background to launch, to kickstart the peace process. This work continued in Doha, on the Doha rounds. Actually, I have seen today a lot of participants from 2019, and I'd like to say that for the first time we see female representatives of the Afghani political elites represented today in the peace process. Once again, I'd like to reiterate that this peace process should be Afghan-led and led by the Afghani people. No outside interference should be allowed, and it is only through diplomatic peace process, negotiations and compromise that peace can be achieved. And the agreements that are to be reached have to include the interests of all parties and define the direction, the vector of further development of the country. And outside parties like Russia should create the conditions for inside Afghanistan forces to negotiate and move forward. I hope that today this progress will be reached. The work will be coordinated by a special representative of Russia's president on Afghanistan peace process. His name is Zamir Kabulov. You know him very well. And as for me, I wish you productive work and thank you for your attention.